For more than a year, BMW has been teasing a variety of upcoming all-electric models. And late last year and earlier this, it revealed the production variants of two we've been eagerly watching for a while: the BMW iX electric crossover and the BMW i4 electric compact sedan. At the official production reveals, we were told about range and specifications for both. The BMW iX xDrive 50, we were told, had an all-wheel drivetrain developing 385 kilowatts. It would offer a 4.6-second sprint time and an estimated 300 miles, which is 482 kilometers of range, on the EPA test cycle from its 106 kilowatt-hour usable battery pack. Meanwhile, we were told the i4 eDrive 40 would offer a 250 kilowatt rear-wheel drivetrain setup with a 5.7-second sprint time and an identical range per charge, this time from an 81.5 kilowatt-hour usable battery pack. In terms of specifications, this places both vehicles clearly in the sights of Tesla's Model X and Model 3 respectively, especially with both models offering 11 kilowatt onboard charging as standard and offering up to 200 kilowatts of rapid charging at compatible CCS charging stations. Yet what we didn't know, at least in North America, was the price of each model. That is, until this week, when BMW announced the pricing of the BMW iX xDrive 50, the BMW i4 eDrive 40, and, surprise surprise, the BMW i4 M50. Yeah, that's right, the first M-badged electric car from BMW. Today, I'm going to examine what each car offers, detail roughly when we can expect them to enter into the marketplace, look at where they fit into the market against the competition, and ask if they will ultimately sell. But before I do, let's talk about something I know will irk some people. We'll be comparing these cars to the Tesla Model X and the Tesla Model 3. The reason? Unlike, say, the Chevrolet Bolt EV or the Nissan Leaf, these performance models from BMW are actually in the same market segments as those two Tesla models, which have set the standard for electric vehicles in the segment. So here, for once, it is totally appropriate to compare them. And yes, this does mean more expensive EVs. I'm sorry. Let's start with the BMW iX first, or rather, the 2022 BMW iX xDrive 50. The iX is due to launch later this year in parts of the world, but won't be launching in North America until Q1 next year, with a starting price of $84,195 before incentives, but including mandatory delivery and destination fees. There are also different variants depending on where you live in the world. In Europe, for example, there is going to be a smaller capacity variant on the way called the BMW iX xDrive 40, which features a 71 kilowatt-hour usable battery pack, a less powerful drivetrain, shorter range, and a maximum 150 kilowatt DC quick charging capability. But I'm not going to focus on that model here in today's video because we are covering the US pricing launch. But I did think it was important to note that difference might exist depending on where you live in the world. Why isn't BMW making a shorter range variant for North America? Simply put, dealerships balked at the idea of a car with less than 300 miles of real-world range, which explains the more powerful, longer-legged variants. Based on the Vision iNext concept car that first debuted in 2018 at the Paris Motor Show, the iX is marketed as BMW's new flagship plug-in. BMW says the iX name was chosen to emphasize the car's position at the top of the i-brand lineup, but I'm calling BS there. We know the X is a reference to this car's biggest rival, the Tesla Model X, which starts from a slightly more expensive $89,990 before incentives or fees. And yes, I know, maybe a fairer comparison would be between, say, the BMW iX and the Audi e-tron Quattro SUV, which, again, aren't that dissimilar in price. Or maybe in Europe, the Mercedes-Benz EQC. And frankly, in Europe, where both of those models are pretty darned popular, I'd agree that a cross-shop against them might be worth doing, so let us know in the comments below if you'd like that to happen. But in the US, the king that BMW is seeking to dethrone is most certainly the Tesla Model X. How do they compare? Well, both cars have a coefficient of drag of 0.25, and both cars are built with plenty of onboard tech. The iX will ship with Level 2 semi-autonomous technology, but it has all of the sensors on board to make it possible to upgrade that functionality in the future, something that frankly most automakers are now doing when rolling out new cars. Unlike Tesla, there's no option to beta test more capable system enhancements, but BMW has been working on its own in-house autonomous tech for a while, and I have no doubt that we're going to see a demonstration of that in the near future. The iX's interior is frankly a lot more traditional than, say, the Model X, and there's a lot of reused materials in there. It's contemporary for sure when compared to a more traditional BMW SUV, but BMW seems to have managed to get a decent balance between tech focus and familiarity that I think a lot of buyers in the segment will completely vibe with. On paper though, the Tesla Model X wipes the floor with the iX in terms of sheer performance and range. It's quicker accelerating, has a higher top speed, and can charge more briskly. It can also carry more luggage because the iX doesn't have a front trunk. In fact, the iX doesn't even have a bonnet you can open. You have to pour the washer fluid into a special filler cap on the bonnet that's hidden by the BMW emblem. Let's not go there. How about the BMW i4? Well, it cross-shops, I think pretty squarely, against the Tesla Model 3. After all, the i4 is based on a BMW 3 Series sedan, and on paper, the two cars are closer than the iX and Model X are. The i4 eDrive 40 is similarly appointed to the iX in terms of in-car tech. It, like the iX, has onboard range planning software, over-the-air software update functionality, and the same 200 kilowatt onboard charging tech. It's not quite as quick as the iX, only has rear-wheel drive, and its 5.7-second sprint time is noticeably slower than even the current entry-level Model 3. It does manage further range per charge, but at a starting price of $55,400 it is a lot more expensive than that entry-level Model 3. If we're looking at a similarly priced Model 3, we'd be looking at the Model 3 Performance, which of course is all-wheel drive, has a much higher top speed, is far quicker to 60 miles per hour, and on paper manages to travel a lot further per charge. But let's stop on range for a second. I think at this point it's important to know that while Tesla's official range estimates tend to err on the side of optimism, many automakers are starting to be pretty pessimistic about their cars' ranges, and as we've seen with Porsche, Ford and Volkswagen in recent years, official range estimates are easily exceeded with a little careful driving. That is not to say, though, I think the iX or i4 will beat the Model X or Model 3 in terms of range per charge. I don't think they will. But I also think real-world range for both Beamers is likely to be higher than the current EPA estimates, because that's how most German automakers have started to massage their figures. But then we get to the i4 M50. Compared to the regular i4, it has all-wheel drive, much more power at the wheels, 400 kilowatts in fact, and a much brisker sprint time of 3.9 seconds, at the sacrifice of range, unfortunately, 245 miles or 394 kilometres. Sure, it's an M-badged i4 and is faster and quicker than a standard i4, but it's also nowhere near as fast as the Model 3 Performance, and at $65,900 it's also a lot more expensive. But wait, if you're sitting there cheering at what I'm saying, I need to call both myself and you out. Sure, performance specifications are important to many customers, especially if you are buying a high-end electric car, and in performance alone, Tesla wins both of these matchups. But you and I both know that buying a car isn't just about performance specifications. I don't buy my cars just based on performance. I buy my cars based on all of the other things that I need the car to do. Its utility, its function, its design, its fit, its finish, and its trim. And when it comes to interior design, there is a lot to like about the BMW offerings. BMW's new iDrive 8 software is included as standard. Each vehicle features a head-up display, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity, things that still aren't standard in Tesla's vehicles, and BMW's new intelligent personal assistant voice control, if you're into that sort of thing. And frankly, for a large number of buyers, the more conventional cockpit of a BMW compared to the minimalism that Tesla is famous for will be a point in these cars' favour. Not everyone will want that, just as not everyone will want the technology BMW has chosen to include, and heck, as we have detailed on this channel a lot, BMW has been anything but reliable in EVs, at least as far as both of the i3s owned by our team members here is anything to go by. But the iX will sell, the i4 will sell, and the i4 M50? It will sell, because BMW has more than a 70-year reputation for making drivers' cars first and foremost, and while Tesla also makes great driving cars, as Winter will be talking about in an upcoming video, many buyers, especially more traditional ones, still see them as extremely clever, expensive computers on wheels. Everyone is different, Some people love them some connected cars that can do some or all of the driving duties. Other people want their cars to be a different type of connected. Connected to the road, connected to the driving experience. And for those people, the driving experience trumps the tech. For better or worse, many people see Tesla as a technology company more than an automaker. And just as that will attract some people to the brand, it will also drive some away from it. Sure, many of the people who are drawn to Tesla will not touch the iX or i4. But let's remind ourselves that electric vehicles, even today, are a tiny proportion of the new global car market. Many BMW fans and loyalists who find Tesla's current offerings not engaging enough, too weird, or simply too new to the market are bound to get behind the wheel. Likewise, people who want a more classy interior or a less minimalist interior will opt for the Beamers first. For what it's worth, I don't think I'd personally end up buying either. Neither Tesla nor BMW suit my personal preferences for what I'm looking for in a car. That's okay too. But if BMW can get existing customers driving electric, something it's struggled to do so far, if it can get more people who want a driver-oriented experience instead, then I honestly think these cars will sell. They won't be Tesla killers, but they most definitely will expand the market, expand choice, and lead to more people plugging in. And I think nobody can argue with that. Don't forget Tesla's ultimate goal, transitioning the world's fleet to clean energy and transportation. And more vehicles, more choice, that's what it's really about. I just hope we start seeing more affordable models soon. That's it for today. Please do hit subscribe and the bell if you haven't yet, as it stops YouTube from doing weird things with our content. Make sure you're subscribed to Transport Evolved Take 2 and Transport Evolved Shorts. There are links below. And of course, this channel. Thanks on behalf of the entire TE crew go out to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreon supporters. Special thanks to our $50 a month patrons. That's Guido Drahota, Brophy Wolf, Anonymous Freak, Raging Fellows, Carl Hodgson, Gordon C, Paul Conway, Laura Sanborn, Anthony Coates, Denny Hyde, Sean Ueda and Tesla in the Gong. And our deepest gratitude to our $100 a month Patreon supporters. They are John Lyons, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback, Will Graylin and Ian. If you would like to join the ranks of wonderful supporters, you'll find links below to Patreon, Bitcoin, and Ko-fi. You can chat with the team and TE fans over at Discord. And if you'd just like to buy some TE swag, head over to our Redbubble store. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving!